Some of you have been sending in your messages. Let me roll out this particular story to him because most of your messages are about the promises in general. So let's take a look at what they say on education. The party is promising to improve the free SHS while scrapping the double track system. It also says it will absorb 50% of the 2020-2021 fees for university students. Well, here is what the students themselves think about the policy.
Yeah, the University of Ghana are trying to speak to a few of the students here and find their own assessment of the policies that have been, put forth by the NDC. I'm grateful, ladies and gentlemen, that you're joining me for this quick conversation. I want to start with you. To my right, I have Elliot and then Stella. Elliot, you've heard the NDC, its flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, says that they're going to take 50% of tuition fees come next academic year. That's a huge one, don't you think?
It's very huge, and I think now policies in Ghana has moved from development driven to a race of who can be a populist party in the country. Now, Manuel, it is very good that the NDC is trying to look at the burden that COVID-19 has placed on most parents. But let us take into consideration the limitations that the university had with even charging full percentage of the school fees, and let's look at what the university is likely to face with a 50% cutoff.
And the government is paying that 50%.
Government was even subsidizing the fees that we used to pay with the 100% payments, and we're still having challenges. So to me, I think a 50% is just to buy my parents off, and I think it's not the best for me to be hit with something and then I'll be found wanting midway.
Interesting. I'll come to you, Stella. Stella is on my far right. I'll come to you, but let me go to Irab now. Elliot says that this is just an attempt to buy off his parent. He doesn't believe that it's a feasible thing. What says you?
Well, then if this is an attempt to buy off parent, then definitely this is going to work, because with the impact of COVID-19, we've realized that most market women, especially who cater for their children, single mothers, have been hit hard by this COVID-19, and the government stimulus packages does not include directly these people. And so for a candidate aspiring to be a president, giving you such a promise, this is very huge for parents who have their wards in tertiary institution or final year students in SHS who would eventually enter the university. This is a big good news for them. And so for me, if they say they can do it and it's actually feasible, although we know that at the end of the day there may be certain losses, we would have to borrow to supplement our economy and all that, but at the end of the day, this is a good initiative to mitigate the problems that the COVID-19 has impacted on some of these businesses. Already some students of the University of Ghana had petitioned the school management to sort of give partial refund for residential and academic fees, and we didn't hear much of it, or especially from the university management. So this is a good call, although we could do better in terms of stating emphatically what the government, if voted into power, would do to supplement government institutions, because many a time we hear that we would scrape this off, we would take this away, but what system are you putting in place such that over the long years span we would have a system that the university itself can sort of generate funds for itself, or
be able to sustain itself? That's a good point. I'll go to Ebo. Ebo is just right after Irabna, and they're making the point that, you see, it's a good thing for parents because they have taken a hit from COVID. But point again will be that the NDC said ahead of 2016 election that it wasn't possible to give freebies like that and mention free SHS, but now free SHS has been given. Then the same NDC turns around and says that, you know what, we're going to give you 50% off, we're going to give you free laptops, we're going to give you free this, free that. As a student, when you listen to the things that the NDC is saying, how does it make you feel?
Well, so Manuel, the NDC's manifesto has lived up to its name of being, the people's manifesto, in the sense that it's at best populist. And so you look at the proposed things they want to do, and then it tells you that they are trying to appeal to the masses, and so that's what they've done. Now, with respect to the 50%, absorbing the 50% of fees, on the face value, you may think it's good. I mean, for the normal, the market woman, or the average Ghanaian. But I don't think the country is in the financial position to be making some of these promises. The president has been making out a lot of freebies ever since the COVID-19 pandemic broke out.
Exactly the point I was going to make. That when you say that it's not in the right time, to make these free promises and so on. The NPP government has given free water for months, free electricity for months, free hot meals continues and is still running for senior high schools and junior high schools. So, I mean, it gives an indication that where there's a will, then definitely, it may come through. That doesn't sit well with you.
Well, Manuel, of course, they may say they have the will, but what's the point I sought to put across is the country in the position to do so? I mean, do we even have the money to be doing all of that? Because you're looking at thousands of students. Here in the University of Ghana alone, we have over 40,000 students, and then you can talk of elsewhere in the other universities as well. And so to say you are absorbing 50% of everybody's school fees, I don't think, even though it may sit right with a lot of people, I don't think it's what we need as a country now, especially when we are in debt. Government is looking at borrowing billions of cedis within these 3 months. And so we may be able to do it, but it will leave the country at a deficit at the end of the day.
That's yours. I want to come to Michael now and, ask you. Rabna says that, you know what, COVID has come knocking and people need to be cushioned. And so it's a good thing.
Yeah, on the face value of the principle thereof of COVID has come, and we've already set the precedence that because of COVID, free electricity, free water, a lot of tax havens, giving a lot of monies to businesses to survive. So on that principle basis, it's good to come to the level of one of the students aid at the moment, and we know that we need it as a country. But coming from what my friends have already said, when you look at the country's financial status and given the situation we find ourselves in, it may be difficult to actually be able to go ahead with this. I need my laptop and I need 50% of my school.
You think it's ambitious?
Well, yes, I think that I'm so very ambitious. And what we're really encouraging in the country is he who gets to promise more, gets to win the seat. So let's do more of that. I'm sure then months before the elections will hold, and then MPP will just say, well, 50% off for everybody's school fees. Then it sways the vote. So maybe we should come up with constructive ways of going ahead. Okay. We know the category of people that are already struggling to pay school fees, which are people who have already subscribed to student loan. What is the challenge with them? CST money is not coming, Get Fund money is not coming. Should we not put more money there that, well, but you need money for this semester? Let's go ahead and maybe say that go to student loan. Maybe the amount of money you have to pay back in terms of after taking the loan, we should look at maybe
instead of interest-free loans, instead of 50% rebate.
Yeah. I think that going towards that line looks more like a constructive way of going about it.
I'll come back to Michael. Interesting point that he's making. He says that talking about student loans, I'm going to Stella, and the NPP has promised that it's going to scrap the guarantor requirement for student loans. The NDC mentions the same thing, but goes ahead to say that they're going to expand the base of student loan and make it a bit more accessible. Now, while doing that, they are also absorbing 50% of your school fees and giving you free laptops, you and your teachers free laptops. All these things, do they culminate into the perception I'm getting from this side of the conversation that it's over ambitious?
Oh yes, I would always say that it's very overly ambitious, because right now we are having a lot of freebies from the president, and sometimes you wonder where government is actually getting these monies from to do these things, and our debt is increasing by the day. So as a new government that are coming into power, how do you intend to be able to finance all the things that and one laptop is almost, if you are getting a basic one, it's almost over 1,000 cedis.